Okay, so we are live. How is everybody tonight? I hope you're all doing good. It's another chill stream. What a thing to do. Chill on Valentine's Day. Every all the couples are out doing something probably. No couples here, unfortunately. So let's see. We'll get everything going.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, Metal, how are you this Valentine's
I'm
Day?
eating.
Uh, well, that's good. I I guess. Is it good to be eating? I would say
I
so.
do like getting calories into my body.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing. We need calories, right? Or some. We don't need a lot, but each day or however you want to say it.
It is paramount for survival.
Yes. Okay, so why is this not showing?
So what are you up to this chill stream? What are you working on first?
Um, if I can get it up, I figured since it was Valentine's Day, I'd draw some couples from my universe.
It sounds like a plan.
Drawing. First up will be Thunder and Lightning, the biker couple that go around doing stuff for the biker gang that they're in.
Are those two I'm vaguely familiar. I've definitely either seen or talked about them with you before.
Yeah,
So
Thunder is the guy, and he has Sonic sort of Sonic or Thunder. You make sound type stuff. I don't. I know I got his bio done and all that. It's just I haven't written anything with him in except for his bio, so it's hard to do
yeah,
stuff.
no, I think I literally only know about this character because we've talked about it.
Yeah. Here, maybe I should go to my website. Hopefully, the bio's actually up on there for him. Yeah, it's because I've done him before here on the live stream, and his wife, Lightning. Well, and of course, Cat and not model Jay. Um, you know who I'm thinking about, I think. Two Canadians from opposite sides of. One's from the East Coast, one's sort of west. Had the little drawing competition, more with lightning than thunder.
Kind of got like a Donnie Marie thing going on. One's a little country, one's a little rock and roll.
Yeah. Yes, Edward Lewis, 6 foot four, 245 pounds. That might be a bit too weighty for him. I'm not sure.
Wait, come again? What would you say?
He's 6'4", 245 pounds.
Uh, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Especially if he's got like that typical biker build. Like, yeah, I could kind of see it.
He
Yeah.
he doesn't have the the biker belly. Hitman for the biker club. Hell's Choice Biker Club. Uh, under unknown to him, but Thunder is actually, I say mutant, but I'm not using mutants in my universe. I gotta reword that. The powers to which he has been gifted are metahuman strength, the ability to control sound, although he has only to use these sound powers in the form of sonic booms. If he learned to use his powers better, he could have the ability to use high sound powers. Thunder has hand to hand combat skills, or uh, Thunder's hand to hand combat skills are only that of which he has learned in barroom bra- barroom brawls, fights on the playground, or anything that might you might be able to pick up and reproduce from TV. Hey, Joshua, how are you? I don't know if this is just me, but you seem to be pausing. It might be me. You there, Metal?
Oh yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
just like I said. I'm eating as well, so I.
Yeah, I gotta remember that.
Yeah, it was buffering a little bit for me. I don't know if it's just you. It partially could be, but YouTube's also been having some problems lately too.
Yeah, I've just been. I noticed the last few days my internet's been a bit slow or buffering. Not so much today, but the last couple days. Hopefully, it won't do too much of that throughout the stream. And this is not. Why is this not showing my camera here?
Is your virtual cam activated?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. I remember I thought I activated mine recently, but right before I jumped into a stream, like, why is it not coming on? Then I looked like, oh, I forgot to actually turn the virtual camera on.
Okay, there. I turned it off and back on, and now it's working. I just more like so you
Oh yeah,
can
I can see it now.
see in Discord, because I'm not sure how much you want to
Instead
go.
of waiting like half a minute to see it on YouTube.
Yeah, if I actually ask you something about, you know, I figure that's good to have. Hey, Timothy. Not much. Yourself? How is your Valentine's gone? How is your Valentine's gone, Metal?
I don't celebrate the day.
Uh,
So, same as always. Pretty good.
yeah. And Timothy says, "Hey, Metal, what is up, brother?"
Oh, what's up? I'm eating cup noodles beef teriyaki stir fry.
Okay. So if we happen to get done Thunder and Lightning drawing, I might do the secret identity of Insecto and his wife. So Jack and Betty McAdders. And Joshua is saying this is buffering. Yeah, for some reason it's way down on the kilobytes per second. Streaming out, I don't know why. Which side
It's the
is.
Canadian government. They're trying to sabotage you, Rick.
I'd actually believe that. So I don't know what I'm gonna. I know I want to draw Thunder and Lightning together. Timothy,
Timothy, yes.
which side is the better side of Canada? I don't know. I guess it depends on who you are.
You're not smack dab physically, but population wise, you're basically in the middle of Canada.
Yeah. Well, I'm in I'm in the most populated area of Canada. Well, Toronto's the most populated, but I mean
You're in
all
the
the.
general Toronto area.
Shh! Don't say that to Hamiltonians.
Oh, they may not want to believe it, but they know from outsiders what everybody refers to that area as.
No, we're an hour away. We the Hamilton will literally can usually be called other than Toronto. But other towns like Mississauga, Brampton, yeah, Brampton, and a couple others are right uh, next door. Like there's the only dividing line
Is
for a
it?
lot of these is walking from one side of the street to the other.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you from personal experience, very similar. Fort Worth is a big city. Arlington has gotten to the point that it's a big city. People call it DFW, but if you ask anybody from outside of the area, they're just going to tell you it's the Dallas area, no matter where you are in it.
Yeah, I am reading the chat, Joshua.
And if you're only just now hearing this message, then things have not improved.
Yeah, but what if you get past that message?
Oh, it's already a paradox, because how could he go and know to check back in half an hour, like for me to tell him if he hasn't already heard the message?
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take a bunch of stuff off there. There, took a whole bunch of stuff off. My task, well, not my taskbar, but okay, we got all these in. So I'm gonna take all these down, all these images.
I'm actually really surprised with all the features Discord has, and that the fact that they know a lot of people use it for calls and stuff on stream, that they haven't just come up with with Discord Studio channels, which basically can let you like put a stream key in and then stream to places.
Yeah, that would be neat if they did that. Okay. Do not say.
Hey guys.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, Mike.
All right.
How'd your stream go?
Tommy, you dropped by. Thanks for dropping by on my channel earlier.
Oh, that did it. I'm up to 4,000 kilobytes per second. So people should actually probably be getting a good watching experience now.
It was Mike. He was the good luck charm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was coming in to, yeah, and I've already liked and shared the stream, of course. I just was dropping in to say hi. I've still got a lot of stuff to catch up on my own subscription. So, but I think I'd drop in and say, and Tommy, I know you came in for a few minutes.
Yeah, just before hopping on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I was talking about the Louder and Prouder Disney show, right? when you were on?
When I hopped in, you were still on Velma.
So yeah, okay. Velma was the last thing I did, so I guess yeah. I don't know if you heard this, but Tommy, you know who Steve Bloom is, right?
Yes, I do.
He apparently came out and endorsed the episode of Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, where they were saying that America should give black people reparations.
Well, that's a shame because he's a very talented voice actor.
Well, yeah, but like many in Hollywood, he's unfortunately also leans pretty far to the left.
Yeah, that is the common occurrence.
Yeah, it's like in fact he called the anti-woke rhetoric destructive and divisive. And I was like sitting there going, no, Steve, it's actually the
Opposite.
actually the woke rhetoric that's destructive and divisive. In fact, if anything, the argument I was making too is that what a lot of these BLM and Antifa activists want, they want apartheid in America. They want apartheid in the United States.
Heck.
Yeah, but a lot of them are they're useful idiots. Like they don't know that they've been convinced that's what they want, right? Because they're the higher ups, the top activists are the ones that have convinced them that because it's kind of like a Marxist ploy to have destructive and divisive language, but then they convince the people who share it that it's the opposite.
Yeah. Well, heck, it was sort of like I was saying Sunday, or we were saying Sunday, a bunch of us, you know, on your show, Mike, that, back in the late 80s or late 70s, early 80s, maybe into the 90s, or all the way through the 80s, we had programs with, black and white and whomever getting along, you know?
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys heard me talk about.
Or we had, intermixed cast, or we had, the full black or almost full black cast, and white people were watching it with no problem, no complaining, except for maybe a few idiots that you wouldn't hear of because no internet.
Right. But yeah, I mean.
But I grew up watching Bill on Fat Albert, and that was a great show. I loved it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they still made their points, but they didn't. They didn't try to divide you. It's kind of funny. I often have you guys ever seen the movie Boys in the Hood?
I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah, well, I've watched it, and when they were talking about, I guess, gentrification, what I took from Lawrence Fishburne's character Trey Styles' speech on that is that black people shouldn't be sitting there trying to play the victim. He's talking about how they should, how they should make sure everything in their community is black owned and black money. But nowadays it's like you have a lot of these people who are just stirring the pot and just trying to make everything so divisive. But yeah, as we were talking about even on my show on Sunday, how a lot of that rhetoric, how there hasn't been such a problem since today. You weren't, there were a lot of successful black people back in the 80s there who would probably not have even thought about, reparations. But some other pieces of news too. I don't know if you guys had heard, but Velma is officially getting a second season.
Yeah, I knew they were at least considering it. I thought they had actually said yes.
Oh, no, it's pretty much been confirmed. I guess in some interviews done by the CEO of Warner Brothers Animation, Channing Dungey.
Yeah.
they are actually doing it. They're actually working on it right now. The thing that Vera Dark had talked about with it was that the only reason that there is a season 2 is because they had basically contractually they basically contracted to do multiple seasons from the get go. So there was always going to be a season 2, even if the first season tanked. But considering that, and everybody's saying that this show doesn't even deserve a second season, considering that it is by IMDb, it's like the worst animated show of all time on IMDb, and the third worst rated show, period. So overall of all time.
Oh, it still hasn't beaten Santa Inc. yet.
I think it has beaten Santa.
Well, because that would count as an animated show. Yeah. It was the worst all-time rated show for a little while on there, so I assumed it was still worse than Velma.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I guess the rating went because initially the rating for Velma was a 1.3, and then it did go back up to 1.4, but I think it's still considered the worst animated show of all time. And the article I was you heard me talking about. The article I was focusing on tonight was, I guess, about the sickle cell joke that got a lot of heat. And when I read that joke, what that joke said, I was just thinking, that's probably one of the most idiotic and stupid things to say. To sit there and connect sickle cell anemia to rudeness. Go figure, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was already kind of crazy when it dropped so low that it beat Dragon Ball Evolution, which a lot of people give it a really low rating.
Yeah, well, I think it's. Now the Rotten Tomatoes score, the audience score, went back up to 7%, but only because. But I think it should technically be lower. But according to Yellow Flash, the only reason that it's not getting below 6%, it never got below 6% on the Rotten Tomatoes scores, is because they must have somehow locked the score at 6%. It can't go lower than 6%. It went back up to 7. Maybe they locked it now at 7%. It's not going to go lower because
there could be another reason without them having to lock it. The audience score is a lot easier to influence with like bot accounts and stuff, while you can't do that with the critic score.
Yeah, but still, it was locked on 6% for quite a while, and then just recently went back up to 7%. But that's still some pretty low scores. Actually, what's kind of one of the other articles I was reading about was more of a comics-related article. So there was a former IGN writer who had claimed that they, quote unquote, they were not allowed to give bad reviews of comics. That was like the first article I did tonight. Apparently, this guy was involved with IGN back in 2014, 2015, and apparently they were not necessarily, because what it was, and they alluded to an interview done recently by somebody where they talked about, because if you give a bad review, then you may not get another chance to review their comic early.
Yeah, I think I saw Clownfish TV doing a video on that interview too. It's mostly Marvel was the one that started, and a bunch of other people followed suit where if they got bad reviews, they wouldn't give any review copies anymore.
Yeah.
So then you just, I know it costs something, but then you just go out and buy it. And you can write it off if you buy it, as company,
well,
if you do a review on it for, business expense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it gets Marvel will go after you, and they'll get people fired for that too. And most people's bosses don't have a spine, so
yeah. Well, yeah. We need we need to really lash back at the woke. That's just, you know, we can't let them bully people into submission. I mean, and of course, now this is all obviously well known among some of us in the, some of those in the but Mike Barron is going forward with his lawsuit against Daily Cost over their, yeah. You all right there, Rick?
Oh no, I looked at my
Your screen blanked out, and then you kind of went little robot-y yourself there for a moment.
Yeah, my kilobytes per second went down very low, like 0 for a second or 2.
I'll be back in a minute or two. I need to pop this other stir fry in.
So, sounds like you had some good articles there tonight.
Yeah, I'm just sorry you weren't there to catch them, Rick.
Yeah.
But, let's see. Well, Tommy came in towards the end. Terry was there. Tim was there. Shadowhawk dropped in as well. So we had some people come in. So that's pretty cool. We had some good conversations going for a while there.
Yeah.
Anyways, I've got some stuff I got to go do. So it was good talking to you, my friend. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night and every night. And I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Later.
Bye.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Okay, I think I'm going to have to redo this guy here. Get some things better on him. Although he doesn't look too bad. So how is things out there on the, are we going good for the stream? Is it buffering as much as it was? Or is it buffering less now? I should have went and got some sort of pictures of couples fighting together. Because this is just going to be a static pose, which not all that exciting. Much better. That's good. Yeah. So I shut down a whole bunch of stuff. So I guess that's all I needed to do. I need to make sure I have all that stuff shut down. I don't really like the way I've done this helmet. So what are you up to tonight, Tim? Now I have the long hair for him. I'm beginning to wonder whether I should put beard and mustache on this guy. Give him that bearded look for. Yeah. I got the basics of the biker symbol there. Not much of a villain pose there, is it? Now, let me see whether I can quickly get. I might redo these guys. Let's see. Guy and girl villains fighting together. In comics. Fighting pose. I'm not getting any good images. Um, can you guys think of trying to think of any villain duos?
I'm back.
Can you think of any villain duos that are guy and girl? Because this pose is pretty static, although I don't even think I got them.
A guy and girl that is not Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Definitely. I never even thought of them for some reason.
Isn't Titania and Crayola duel?
Yeah, a little bit. That's Abomination and Titania. Because I searched a guy and girl fighting pose, and I got nothing. So Abomination and
Crusher Creel.
Yeah. Probably spelled that wrong. And make sure I put comics there because I don't want stuff from She-Hulk.
Josh, you said you thought it was Titania and Absorbing Man. Probably. I think she's had a few different partners over the years.
Oh yeah, it's Absorbing Man, not Abomination. I don't know why I put that.
But I think Absorbing Man is Crusher Curiel, right? I think they're
Yeah.
the same person.
Yeah, they are.
I remember he used to be a boxer. That was the big thing I remember about him before he was Absorbing Man.
That's they actually when I did Abomination, that's the pictures they gave me too. So, ooh, that might be a good one. Copy. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna take that out. I'll redo this. You don't get to see. Oh. Yeah, you're right, Joshua. So, and I will show up here.
Yeah, I know they have kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde thing going on. But there's a few duos that are like that for villains that They just take the Bonnie and Clyde stereotype and then they just throw two people together.
Yeah. I made it big, so that might be a good sort of pose to use. See whether there's any other decent ones. Oh, that could be good too. Should get people to see which one they want once I get two or three here. Okay, so there's two picks. You guys can look. Any thoughts on the first two picks so far, Metal? For
I kind of prefer the right one just because the pose is more energetic.
uh, here's a third one.
Mighty Geek Studios asks, "Who's the wrestler?"
Yeah, well, he's not a wrestler, but yeah, he does look. This is Thunder from Thunder and Lightning, my husband and wife villain team. Although they're just hitmen for a biker. Uh,
I feel like you could take any classic, like hero design, or anybody who's trying to look like a classic hero design or villain design, and say who's the wrestler because they all look like pro wrestlers.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna grab one more. Although, hopefully, you're gonna be able to see. Hopefully, you'll be able to see all four.
Yeah, it seems like you run out of room on your page.
Okay, I might move the one over because you don't need to, I think, see the ball in his hand to get the gist.
When you realize that Titania is another casualty to the ginger side.
Yeah. So with these four, I know the bottom two are almost similar, or I think three of them are almost similar, but they're enough different, I think. Which pose do you think I should go with?
I have not changed my answer.
Okay, so you're saying the right one, top right.
Yeah.
Do we got any votes from the chat? For which pose we'll go with, and probably everybody's gonna try and vote for somebody different just to mess with me. The embrace top left is 1, top right is 2, bottom left is 3. I have to agree with metal. Okay, so we got 2 for the top right, and I was gonna say bottom left right number 4. So, and if you want to come on, Mighty, you can too. Just my Discord, on air. I agree with metal too. Okay, so I guess the eyes have it. I'll take out the ones that are pathetic. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that down for the moment. I'm gonna put all those down. So since Tim didn't seem to vote, we got 3. That's pretty good. So having actually
In a Gallic myth, Titania is the queen of the fairies, but she is much more powerful than any of the other fae folk, and is basically a fairy god, which makes sense why they would pick that name for the character, because it kind of matches her personality.
yeah. Okay, so now we need to get the position of everybody here.
Titania was the mythical version was also the antagonist in the Shakespearean play *Midsummer Night's Dream*, the one that actually caused everyone to fall asleep in the first place.
Yeah, I think. Well, DC did something based on that for a comic book, but I think I'm beginning to remember a character named Titania or something similar in Gargoyles, which would probably be.
That would be apt. There's a lot of the Celtic Gallic mythology interwoven into the story of gargoyles.
Yeah.
A lot of Shakespeare in there as well, because I believe directly the story of Macbeth is canon to the story of gargoyles.
Yeah, because Macbeth is actually a character in Gargoyles.
Somehow still alive.
Yeah, well, he got through magic a bit fused with Demona.
Yeah. So it's like it's kind of the story of Macbeth, but it's like Macbeth with a twist. It's like, yeah, we changed the ending.
Yeah.
He faked his death instead. But I believe, like, basically through inference, I think other dialogue had it too, is that the world of gargoyles is written to be in the world that the Shakespearean plays take place in. right? That version of his alternate history. So the other plays happened as well. It's just Macbeth is the only one that really matters.
Alright, so I think I got this. I'm watching Othello on a YouTube as well. I guess that's all right. You're not devoting your watching specifically to me. I'll live, I guess.
Well, he said a while ago, so
Oh, he said
doesn't
a
mean he's
while.
watching it right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's not cheating on you with Othello. I mean, he might still be cheating on you with another stream, but at least it's not Othello.
It's not another fellow.
Actually, if you're gonna watch anything at the same time, it might as well be a work of Shakespeare. I mean, he was a really good writer that has is a cultural keystone.
Timothy says, "Yeesh." My whole life does not revolve around you. I know, and I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying when people's whole lives actually revolve around somebody. Like it seems like it'd be a cool concept when you're young, and then you realize how much attention is just on you all the time. Like, can I just use the restroom?
Yeah, I'm getting no privacy here. I want some privacy.
A lot of people claim he stole a lot of stories from someone else. You can't really prove that. I mean, some of his stories were very likely uh, common cultural stories from where he's from, but the voice of Shakespeare's plays are very consistent. So even if he did take it, he changed it enough that you can't tell.
Well, at least we can't tell nowadays because
Yeah, you'd actually have to see the thing he took it from, but like the pacing and in actual voice, writer's voice in the play, very consistent. Like it seems that Shakespeare wrote his own stuff, but that doesn't mean he didn't borrow concepts or even overall plots from other things.
yeah, that's done today too. Borrowing stuff, that is. Concepts or whatever.
There was another time where they thought that he had taken a play directly from somebody else, but when you looked at the person they thought it stole it from, it was actually one of Shakespeare's pen names. So he apparently stole one of his own stories.
Can you really steal from yourself? Well, I guess so nowadays. You steal from yourself and then report the crime and
Oh yeah, a lot of his stories did take place in Venice, but they were clearly written by somebody who didn't spend a lot of time in Venice because you can check that there's a lot of what's it called, local inaccuracies to the plays. So even if he did take it from somebody, it had to have been somebody he knew, like secondhand stories and stuff like that. But he also has a lot of stories that were from all kinds of places. He has stories that take place in like Germany as well, you know. I think most of it, not to say he didn't plagiarize. still probably could have, but most of it are just people trying to, what's it called? Lower or like bastardize a cultural touchstone, somebody who's done great works for our culture. They're trying to knock him down a peg, destroy an icon. If you steal from yourself, can you sue yourself? No. In fact, you will actually get in trouble for abusing the court system, and then you might end up in jail. Uh, People, there actually have been cases where people try to do stuff like that. Uh, you can't sue if there are no damages, and if you stole from yourself, there technically is no damage.
Yeah. Suing yourself. That would be. I think that would be hard going from the defendant side to the. Uh,
Well, that's the problem, right? So the only way you could even try to do it is you would have to be like suing another identity, right? But for a claim to go through, you actually have to have the prosecution and the defense to meet each other, right? The plaintiff and the defendant. And when they find out that both identities are the same person, well, then you're going to come into problems.
I like this top half, or the torso part of the top half. I would pay to see that argument in court. I think that's about the one thing they haven't done on a lot of these court TV shows. Whether it be the so quote unquote reality type ones, like Judge Judy or whatever, Judge Joe Brown, or um, you know, I guess it'd be more crime drama, court drama. I'm not sure what you'd call them, like Law and Order, Bull, when Bull was a thing. Although don't think Law and Order is a thing anymore either.
Is Special Victims Unit not still going?
I don't know. Well, yeah, I think that one is. A couple years ago they brought out a new one too, where the one guy that was in the Special Victims one is in it for a long time. He was heading it up. The new one. I don't know whether they're both. It's still on.
Yeah, I don't see a last episode date when I look up Special Victims Unit, so I think it's still technically going.
Wait, how about this one guy? Multiple personalities. All of them are an entire courtroom.
This sounds like you're going like Fight Club route at this point.
Yeah, but the guy literally has to cross from one side of the court, from the defendant to the prosecutor, or if it's, I forget what it is, if it's not the.
Well, that's also depending if he's the lawyer, right? Because really, the lawyers are all that matters here. So you usually have the plaintiff, which is the prosecuting side in a
Yeah,
personal
plaintiff.
criminal case. And then you have, which that's usually more civil, but I mean, we'll still use the term plaintiff for the prosecuting side. Typically, in a court case that's criminal, it's the state is the prosecutor, but in a civil case, it would be a plaintiff
Yeah.
and the defense side. But the only people that have to be present until a witness is called are the actual advocates for those people, which are the attorneys. And I think technically, you can have a case anonymously as long as they verify that the person exists, and your advocate can represent you without you being there in person, unless it is deemed necessary for you to be on the witness stand, which is probably usually the case. There is still problems though, because an entity cannot sue itself. Like that is actually not a thing that can happen. So if they find out that the anonymous entity that is being represented by a lawyer is suing a person, then there's going to be repercussions to that in the legal system. People can go to jail for that. And I don't believe your estate can sue you either, or vice versa. Because you are your estate, and it technically doesn't exist separate from you until after your death.
Timothy says, I almost think Metal might have a law degree. No, I think a lot of this is
A lot of this is pretty
common.
common. Like you can find it pretty easily. Like I barely know anything about the law. I could not actually tell you the specifics or detail to it. You'd have to get a lawyer to come in here.
Rikita law.
I do know quite a bit more about copyright law, though. I had to take a lecture course on that back when I was in college for advertising and graphic design. And I've also studied quite a bit of it on my own time, because I think if you work in anything that has creative IPs, you should be learning copyright law.
Yeah, I gotta learn a little bit more of it. I gotta actually start doing some trademarks and that, but it's expensive. Trademarks are expensive. Copyright's not so expensive. Does he still practice law? I think so, but I'm not sure.
I think he actually says he's not a practicing lawyer. He's bar certified, but those aren't the same thing. To be a practicing lawyer means you actually have to have a law practice that you go to. But he could be. I don't know if he just took a break for YouTube, went back to it or not.
But if he got and it doesn't mean he can't be keeping up on the law stuff, just because you're not quote unquote practicing, you can still read up all the stuff that you need to read up. We might not get this one done tonight. I hope we do. If everybody can like and share as well, that would be very much appreciated. Let people know we're here. Trying to think of.
Yeah, I was distracted by people off the mic. You know, it's actually the easiest way to stay a practicing lawyer without actually having to do much law work.
What?
Is to be on retainer for somebody who doesn't often need their lawyer, but they want you on retainer just in case.
Yeah,
Because technically, as long as you remain on retainer, you are a practicing lawyer.
true.
Jay
Yeah.
Dallas sign says, "What up, boys?"
Hey, J Della, how are you? Not much. I'm trying to draw up, use this pose here, uh, for both these characters. Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty cool. That was through one of those sites, right? Use this pose. Hey, Marsupio.
Do you still
uh,
get paid though? Yes, as long as you're on retainer, you are getting paid. That's the retainer fee. So it's great. It does
well,
mean though that you can't just skirt by. You are there basically on call for when they need a lawyer.
yeah. Well, retainer, you can do probably a one-time fee for an extended amount of time, I
W-
believe.
Well,
Or
you do it for a period, which still means you're paying.
yeah,
You could give a fee to hold them for the year if you want to pay them the entire retainer fee for a year. That's between you and the lawyer. But if that time expires and you want to keep it on retainer, you have to continue paying the retainer fee.
yeah, whatever the two people agree to, the two parties. So I'm trying to use this pro. Hey Joshua, you get paid up front, and then you work against the fee, whatever, whenever you need
Yeah,
it.
that's pretty much how it works. And usually they come with some type of clause in the contract that if the work that you do in between the retainer period exceeds that of the fee, then they cover the difference. But anything up until the point of the fee is covered by the initial retainer fee. It's kind of like getting an advance on a book deal or something like that, you know?
Yeah, it's usually hourly, so you could run out of hours. The client may have to re up the retainer. Well, yeah, that's usually how lawyers are paid, but I think also with that, you could easily retainer. Usually it's for a specified amount of time, too. I don't know.
Well, it depends, right? Well, this is why most people don't have lawyers on retainer. That's usually something you get for companies, right? Because companies feel like I could have a legal problem that comes up. Typically, you just have a lawyer, like your family lawyer, whatever that you work with, and then you just pay them when you need them, and they probably have several clients. If you don't think you're going to need a lawyer within the next year, there's honestly no point in having one on retainer.
Yeah. I
Businesses need lawyers all the time, though. That's why they have them on retainer.
Yeah, especially big corporate ones. Then again, some big corporations just have lawyers that are always there to work for them. They're not with any firm. They just work at the company.
Yeah, I mean that's just a standard employment, though. If you're typically retention is for like small to mid-sized businesses where they can't afford to employ a lawyer regularly, and they only think they'll have like a limited number of possible legal problems in any given year.
Yeah. Okay, the one leg looks not too bad. The other one looks a little skimpy. I can't seem to get this arm to look right. But how are you today, Marsupio? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go throw out this cup and wash off this fork.
Okie dokie. Okay, I gotta think of something to talk about. uh, Tuesday, I'm probably gonna go see what's coming out this week. The, is it a Marvel movie or Ant Man and Wasp? Probably gonna go see that Tuesday because that's coming out Friday. Next Tuesday afternoon, I'll probably go see it. A small company can also just ask an attorney to do something like review a contract and then send them a bill. True, true, true.
Okay, I'm back.
Trying to think of something to talk about.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's
dude,
just-
I'm gonna. Marsupial should check this. I'm gonna drop it in the vomitorium Discord, so you can always just look at it later. Where's my thing? My brother added another One Up Arcade cabinet to the I guess the mini arcade that we have here. It's a great one. Let me pop that in. And it's a Killer Instinct cabinet.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, which I really like. Killer Instinct. It's got 1 and 2, but more importantly, because it's a rare game, it has Battletoads on it.
Ooh.
And I love me some Battletoads.
Yeah,
It has
I
the
didn't mind that
arcade
game.
version, the NES version, and the SNES version of Battletoads on there.
I played the NES. Well, no, I played the NES. I might have played the NES version. Battletoads. I don't know whether I played the arcade version.
And even if you use the pause button, or the player one button acts as a pause button, in the NES one, it does the actual like pause music for it, where it would go like and just kind of like loop. It's like it hit me. It also came with a stool that's got which is Spinal from Killer Instinct on it, who is the skeleton with a sword and shield.
Cool. Yeah, I remember playing Killer Instinct in the arcades. And I know we've talked about it before, but it's been a long time. But it's sad that there's so little arcades around anymore.
Yeah. They're kind of coming back though, just because there's like I don't know, nostalgia makes a lot of money, and there's a lot of people who have always wanted to own an arcade that are opening up. Barcades do very well, and then there's alternative to retro barcades. There's also Round One Entertainment, which is popping up in a lot of malls and stuff too.
Well, at least down there in the States. I just don't know about here in Canada.
Yeah, well, Round One is still. I mean, it's been around for almost a decade now, but as far as like a franchise, it's still pretty new. There aren't like a super lot of them. I think they started up in Washington. Um, let's see if there are any Round One in Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah, let me
I
check.
think there might be some sort of arcade, or last time I knew, which was like quite a few years ago.
There. Okay, let's see.
One maybe in
Round
Mississauga.
One. Oh, there's one in Ontario. You could probably guess what city it is. The other one that isn't Hamilton.
Mississauga.
No, it's in Toronto.
Uh, okay, because I know there was something like you had to pay to get a membership or whatever. I'm not sure exactly. I was by it once when I went to go to a movie in Mississauga, which is quite a far
Yeah.
away, but it was.
There's
I don't know what
also
the place was called though.
yeah. I don't know if it's still open. The problem is a lot of the round ones outside of very specific areas they'll like open and close. The one I've had in Arlington, Texas, has been open for I think 8 years straight. So I think that one's staying. People really like it. It's what you think it is an arcade, right? Because that's most of the floor plan is the arcade machines. But where it makes its money is that it's a bowling alley, right? Kind of like
Ah,
how Alley Cats and other places like that are. So like there's a bowling alley in the back. There's like ping pong, karaoke. I think there's quite a few different things there, and then like the whole center of it, like from the time you walk into where you get to everywhere else, where the, like the
yeah,
bar, bowling, and all that is just arcade machines. They have a lot of stuff that are mostly it's all new. You're not going to find old things there. Maybe you might find like a Marvel superheroes versus Capcom machine or something, but for the most part, it's all going to be new stuff, whatever's current in Japan, and then also like a bunch of Midway games too,
yeah, yeah. I
and
could never really
not
find a lot of
Midway in the
new
fun way.
stuff. I could never really find a lot of new near the end, anyways, of them in Hamilton. I couldn't find a lot of newer arcade games.
I'm almost looking over at the Mortal Kombat machine next to me. I'm like, no, sorry, Mortal Kombat, not that Midway. Yeah, but barcades are pretty popular. I wouldn't be surprised if you could find a barcade in your general area. The way they tend to go now is the one near me is literally called free play, but it's kind of how most of these barcades are, right? You talk about pay for a membership. You don't usually pay for a seasonal membership. You pay for a day pass, right? It's like $10 to get in because they know they'll make all their money off of the bar food, which is always too expensive. And they'll give you like a band, and after you walk in, all the cabinets are set to free pay. You don't put any coin in it whatsoever. You just walk up to it and start playing it as long as somebody's not already there. And then you can leave and come back, and as long as you've got the band for that day, you can re-enter on the same $10.
Oh, that's not too bad actually. Because I remember it'd be easy to spend $10 at the
Oh
arcade
yeah.
back in the day, and then especially once they had 50-cent machines and dollar machines.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I hated those ones. the 50 cent
And you still
window.
feel like you spend that easily when you go to like card swiping places. Like round one works that way, or like kind of like how Dave and Buster's does,
Oh,
where you go up to the counter, they give you a card and they put all the credits on the card and you swipe it at each machine. And
yeah,
I mean, it's more convenient. You don't have to carry a bunch of tokens or quarters or anything around. But also, because you're not carrying all of it around, you don't pay as much attention and you go through like $20 worth of credits a lot faster than you think.
yeah. Hey, Captain Infinity. Yeah, actually, that what I just thought of one place that there is an arcade. I wouldn't say with a lot of newer games or anything, but in our amusement park in the Toronto area, Vaughan, Ontario, Canada's
Oh, yeah.
Wonderland, they have a couple arcades, and they have the pass thing, card to do it with.
Well, that makes sense too, because before the resurgence, malls, if you were lucky, and amusement parks were pretty much the only place you could find arcades. Maybe also your movie theater, right? For the longest time, might have had a small little arcade room for when you're waiting for the movie, but even they started disappearing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's at the Cineplex, the one called Cineplex here. They have usually a small arcade, but probably with newer games, some newer, some older games. So yeah, they're around, but getting to them and is hard because for either of the ones that are in a movie theater, I'd have to travel an hour to get there.
Yeah. Well, I miss it because you used to be able to find random arcade machines everywhere,
Yeah,
right? Even if you weren't going to an arcade, whether you wanted to go to your movie theater or if I wanted to walk down to like the CC's Pizza or if I went to my local grocery store, they'd have some in the lobby or whatever. But now you can only find them in like dedicated places for arcades.
yeah, which I hate. Uh,
Like even
well,
Walmart for a while had an arcade room, but now I don't think you see those in any Walmart anymore.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't mind the dedicated arcade space in malls, and like you said, you could find almost every variety store or a half decent number of them. Convenience stores had the you know one arcade machine, maybe two.
Yeah, but now it's all video poker.
Yeah, well, not even that. A lot of places here.
I remember I was so upset because the mall that the round one's in now used to have its own arcade way back. Like, oh, you say it was still privately owned, but there used to be a dedicated arcade in the mall for the longest time.
Yeah,
And I remember back, I think it was like 2008, the arcade was shutting down and they were selling the machines. Like the person, they was not planning on ever opening up an arcade again. It's like, I just need to get rid of these machines. And there was a Soul Calibur 2 machine for like $150 being sold. And like, man, I wish I had the money for that.
oh
It was
yeah.
probably the machine I played the most. I could never get it. And then we were just without an arcade there for years until it had to have been like 2014 or 15 when round one opened up.
Marsupial says, "Okay, I watched the AVGN Battletoads episode again. His
Was
early
an angry
episodes,
video game nerd.
ah, but he says his early shows sucked."
Yeah, that was like before he really got into the groove of like the character or the format of the show. It took him a while. There's kind of some charm to how much the early episodes sucked though. But I do agree. A lot of the early episodes did really suck.
Yeah, but like you said, it's somebody finding their groove, or how do I do
And he got
this?
popular. I think that was the worst part. He actually got popular way faster than he found his groove. But you know what? More power to him.
Yeah, I'd
Even
like
to
to.
both of them. I know a lot of people don't really care for Mike over there. It's mostly James, but I mean, more power to both of them.
Yeah,
But I think that was a lot of the early internet, right? Like now, because there's so much competition, if somebody does become popular, it is usually after they found their groove, and it's because they found their groove that they became popular.
yeah,
I don't know if Mike still works over on there. To be honest, I couldn't tell you. I just know he was there for the longest time. But yeah, now it's like because you found your groove, that's kind of when you start blowing up. But back in the early day, there was a lot less competition, so it was like whoever got onto a platform first, whoever was doing a type of thing first, started just blowing up even before they found their groove, just because they were doing something kind of novel. Uh, I think people started ripping him off even before he found his groove. That's how popular he had become. Where there was a bunch of like angry video game nerd clones and stuff out there.
yeah. Although that's why I want to get over. And I haven't done much on it
Yeah.
lately, but that's why I'd like to get on. Rumble and all that. Doing a lot more over there, but unfortunately, not a lot of people are over there yet.
Well, I think the more unfortunate thing is that Rumble as a site doesn't have a very good interface.
Yeah,
Right, that's why YouTube. It's not even just because it's been around for a long time and it's the biggest, so people are already here. That's a big part of it, but also YouTube, for the most part, works. Right, like you try to do something on YouTube and you can do it.
or they. I don't know about the
Yeah,
mobile version of it, but they have changed recently a little bit of their layout and all that. Rumble.
yeah. It's the every time I have a problem, it's the user end. I think the creator end for the most part's great. I've had no problems from the creator end on Rumble. The
Yeah,
user interface isn't as good, and it does kind of feel like they did so much work trying to lure creators over there, right? Like, hey, look, we're helping you out, which you should. You do want to pander to your creators because it's the people who make stuff, but it doesn't matter what creators you have if there's not enough people watching them. So you need to make sure the user interface is just as good, if not better, than your creator interface.
yeah. I know, but that's what I'm talking about. The
Yeah.
user end, they changed the format of how everything looks recently. I'm not sure when the last time you went over there to watch anything.
I was over there just couple days ago. I go on there periodically, especially because I like to obviously check in on the videos that get forwarded over there. And then I'll watch some stuff while I'm on the site. The front page has definitely improved, but a lot of the
Yeah,
actual interface, like how you search around, how
yeah,
you look at the things that you're following and stuff, really hasn't improved that much.
yeah. Um, I think they still could do a little bit better on the back end
Yeah.
for the creators. The interface. It's not too bad, but I like things at YouTube a little bit better.
Yeah, that's the thing about YouTube is YouTube has been around for a really long time. Uh, I don't even want to say because it has all the resources that Google has, because YouTube was working better before Google took over it most of the time. But they do have a lot of resources, and there's a lot of things they can do because of those resources and the people working on it. Rumble is new, so we do have to cut them slack for that. But also, since there is a big boy on the block, that you can look at YouTube for things you should at least try to attempt to do within your ability. And some of those things they do.
Yeah.
So, like, they're definitely moving in the right direction. I just think it's an explanation for why there isn't a lot of people over there, right?
Yeah.
It's just because the user interface isn't that good.
The other thing, well, on a different platform, I know no, not too many people like TikTok, but there's something on the back end of TikTok I don't like. You don't really get a lot of analytics. Like you can't.
TikTok basically has no backend.
Yeah, this is true. I'm there. I'm on TikTok just to widen my audience, and
Yeah.
frankly, most of my videos, although I'm not sure how long they're being played, which I would like to know, most of the time I'm getting a lot more views on the stuff I put up there than here.
Yeah.
Although it hasn't yet translated into a lot of followers.
Yeah, I noticed that's like the same with the YouTube shorts, right? And I think that's a nature of that type of very, very short format content, right? And I get a lot of views on the like comic dub shorts on the X Side of His Chaos channel on YouTube, but it does not translate to followers. And part of that is because when you're in the shorts feed, it's very easy to watch something and then swipe, and then watch something and swipe. And TikTok works that exact same thing, where you just watch and then swipe to the next one. And it kind of has to be like somebody sees your things, like multiple of your things throughout their feed, to where they decide they actually want to follow you. But a lot of the users that are seeing your stuff are all unique users. You're not getting a lot of like repeat views.
Yeah. I think so, Tim. Here, let me look at TikTok.
And I know I'm the same way. Like I'm looking at my own habits too, where if I see somebody in the shorts feed, I'll start to recognize that I saw the same person make some funny video more than once. And it'll probably take like 5 or 6 times of seeing a video from them in the algorithm before I'm like, I should subscribe to this person. I'm enjoying their videos.
Yeah, the two Melvins are the two biggest at this point. I'll be probably putting up a new Melvin one tomorrow, page 16. But Melvin for page 15 has 335 views. Page 14 has 295. Followed by my verse of the week from last week, which has 270. Oh no, 270. Then followed by my verse of the week this week, which has 261. And then page 4 of Canadian Shield has 259. Page 3, I think, of Canadian Shield. No, page 2 of Canadian Shield has 186. Page 1 has 71. And page 3 has 9. And the one that I put up today, page 5, has none yet. Hey, Lorenzo. Is a unique view user someone who is addicted to smoking pineapples? I don't think so. Lorenzo. How are you tonight, Lorenzo?
I mean, I guess that is a unique user in some use of the words, right? They're using pineapples, and that's a very unique thing to be using.
Yeah, especially if you're
Yeah.
smoking it. I don't think
Well,
that's.
it depends what you mean by smoking. I mean, obviously, it means like smoking it like you would smoke a drug. But there's a lot of people who smoke pineapple for kebabs, right? You grill and smoke it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking like a cigarette or something like that. Or I guess, a joint to eat it too. Can
Can
you
you get
get.
high off pineapples? No, not directly. I mean, you could get lightheaded and end up getting some type of endorphin high from the inhalation, but you're not getting high off of pineapples, and it's not the same as the type of high you would get off of like weed or anything, because it's just a standard endorphin high. The same type of you could get if I were to choke you for a while and then let go right before you pass out.
Timothy's, I need to make a run to the grocery store. I mean, no. I mean, no to what?
And also, I think if you're not really getting anything out of it too, you're just doing more damage to your lungs than good. So,
I don't know what would happen if you smoked the leaves of the pineapple plant that it grows on. That you might get something more out of than a pineapple.
probably not. Like, so maybe I don't know what chemicals are in a pineapple's leaf though. Like if there's anything that would actually give you a stimulation from it,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Like,
you might be able to get a sugar high from a pineapple.
yes, but not from smoking it. You just eat the pineapple and you might get a sugar high from it. You probably have to eat a lot of the pineapple too. Because it's not like it's very sweet, but it's not like super dense in sugar. It's not like the stuff that we make now,
Yeah.
candies and stuff like that.
Eating it all at once in like, 5, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Lorenzo, you lied to me. Lorenzo was hashtag don't do pineapples. Next, you're telling me you can't store pixies.
I mean, you physically can. It's not really doing anything for you other than getting sugar into your bloodstream.
And your nose.
Well, that's why you store things, is because it's a quick way to get it into the bloodstream. I knew a guy, just because he was stupid, uh, decided at lunch one day that he was going to snort Smarties. So he unrolled the Smarties, crushed it all up in front of us, and just snorted it. And man, he screamed that his nose burned.
And
I'm
you
like, well,
say
yeah,
so.
you basically just snorted raw sugar.
The funny thing is, you say Smarties, and I think something totally different because what you know as Smarties, we call Rockets here. Smarties are entirely different candy.
Oh, rockets are so. The for us the Smarties is like the hard sugar little capsules that come together. That's what you guys call rockets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I think they might have some other names too, but that's one of the main names. I did I think one of my snack videos. There's a thing on that. I do our Smarties. I think I do your Smarties and the Rockets. Because you guys have Smarties there too, but they're something different, right?
Yeah. Well, so you have the older version of Nestle Smarties. At one point in time, this was like a thing here too, which are the little coated chocolate
Uh,
things, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Similar
it's from the
to
Nestle company.
similar to M&Ms, but no peanuts.
Well, most M&Ms don't have peanuts in them.
Well, yeah. Well, peanuts or whatever, caramel
Yeah.
or
Well,
whatever.
most M&Ms are basically the same. It's just chocolate with like milk chocolate with sugar coating around it. But there are variants, so there are peanut M&Ms and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. They're both by Nestle too. Funny enough, it's like Nestle sells two completely different products by the same name in different areas.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure there's citric acid in those too. Maybe the rock, your Smarties, your rockets, whatever you want to call them. So if you carried them around, would you have a rocket in your pocket? Yes, you would.
Oh, he's thinking of Spree. Oh God, no. Spree definitely has a lot of citric acid. Oh, I that would be hard to crush down to be able to snort because Spree is like a different texture, a different type of material. Even the hard one, if you bite it, it's almost like biting into hardened clay, so it doesn't like fracture very easily. You'd have to take like something heavy, like a bookend or a hammer or something, if you really wanted to crush Spree to be able to snort it. Oh man, that sounds even more painful than the sugar capsules.
And there's enough citric acid that they burn your tongue if you eat too many. I'm sure that hurt in the nose laugh out loud.
My mom really likes Spree. That's like her favorite, I think.
Uh, Thank you for putting Metal's link there.
There's different types of Spree too. Because like the weird thing about the capsule that Spree, so it's kind of chalky on the inside, but like the outside of it is a smoother, kind of a harder capsule than the inside. But then they also have chewy Spree now too. That it'd probably be easier to break down and snort chewy Spree than the hard one.
Uh, it's called the Devil's Toe. As long as you don't snort the world's hardest candy, it's called the Devil's Toe. Okay. Uh,
I don't know why anybody wants to snort any candy. Like I thought the kid was incredibly stupid doing that at the lunch table, and that comes from somebody who does a lot of wild and stupid things himself. I'm like, this, you know, you're not going to get anything out of this, like at all. It's just sugar. Why are you doing this?
let's see. Marsupio says Adril is kind of sweet, especially if you snort it. I've heard.
Yeah.
Timothy's. Thank you for clarifying the I heard.
Yeah. Well, at least you know, like Adderall is a drug, so if you're crushing that up and snorting it, or I guess uh, taking it in its raw form before putting it into a capsule, at least you're still getting the drug out of it for snorting it. So that's what I said. You're not going to absorb sugar. All it does still get into your system, but like the long way. So it's going to have to go through your like sinuses and shit like that. And it's like the dumbest thing. You're not getting anything out of it. It's fucking stupid. But this guy was just in general very stupid. I knew him for many years. At one point, I abused his stupidity. He borrowed a nickel from me one day because he was like a nickel short of getting like a soda from the vending machine. And I said, okay, but if you don't give me this nickel back in a week, I'm going to charge you a nickel a day interest. And he just let it slide and slide until at one point he owed me several dollars. And I came to collect because I wanted a fuck ton of breadsticks from the lunchroom line.
Ooh, 2 times in a row, almost in a row. Let's see. Timothy said, "Of course it's stupid." What about Joshua says, "What about for the LOLs? Is that reason enough? Just
I
for
mean,
laughs and giggles?"
like for the lulz, it's a pretty dumb reason. I mean, it is a reason. It's just a pretty dumb one. Yeah, they used to sell. I think it was like for 15 cents a piece. All right, and it was they used to sell breadsticks. They weren't great, but they weren't bad. They were like Olive Garden quality breadsticks, right? So they were just good enough that you could eat a lot of them and be fine with it at the lunchroom. And you weren't supposed to get too many, but they were selling them for 15 cents a piece extra. And I refused to stand in lunchroom lines. I just did not want to. So what I would do is I would send somebody in line and be like, listen, if you take all of this money and get as many breadsticks with it as they will give you, I will let you have a couple.
Just a couple. So don't
Oh,
get
yes, yes.
anything. Timothy's, I don't know how much of an attention whore you can be to do it for the LOLs, for the laughs and giggles.
Yeah.
Marsupial says, "Metal's coming for your kneecaps."
Yeah.
And Lorenzo says, "There is no pineapple smoking on Timothy Olsen's Twitter, just cool comic books." And Timothy laughs. "Of course not, just crystal meth," says Timothy about something.
I don't know. Now there's going to be an evil, scummy space overlord that smokes pineapples in Melvin.
So I didn't quite get this done. I will finish this one up next week of Thunder and Lightning. There is the beginning of it, as people can see, or sort of see. I gotta do a lot more on her. Not a bad idea. um. So, Metal, anything you'd like to promote before we end?
Yeah, mostly just the usual stuff. You can check out me and Marsupial tomorrow at the Vomitorium at the normal time, 6 Central in the evening. A link for that there. And also, things are rolling out for X Dynamis Chaos. We just did that big collab, Rick. You were part of it.
Yeah.
So I have that pinned to the front page. But more pages are coming out. I was actually inking a page today for Realms and Relics. So, follow that stuff. New things are coming. I promise. Eventually.
Yeah. Oh, that is good that new things are coming. It's always good to have new things. Yeah, I should have a video up tomorrow for the latest one of the latest panels, new panels for panel page for um Melvin put up me doing it. Timothy's been getting some page panels that are all page size, and then they're going to be put into one page. So that's going to be done. Hopefully, I'll have page 8 done of Canadian Shield Remastered tomorrow. as well. So I guess that's it. Thanks to Metal for coming on, and thanks to everybody in the chat for stopping by. It's great having you all here. Remember, if you haven't, hit that like button and share this out so people can see the replay. Hopefully, the beginning will go better for them than it did for you guys. So, with that, I say adieu till whenever we see you guys next. This Saturday, draw along my channel, 3 o'clock Eastern. So, we'll catch you later. Bye for now.